Laban's keeping all the good cattle, the solid cattle, the ones without any spot or blemish, and that's what Laban's going to be able to keep. And so Laban agrees to that, and he says that he's going to do it according to his word. Of course, that we see in that same day that he takes the male goats that were streaked and spotted, and the she goats that were speckled and spotted, and the brown among the sheep, and he gives them to his sons, and he has them take the way 3 days journey. So he thinks that he's got them. He's like, I'm going to keep most of this stuff, and Jacob's just going to have a few little things. But we see that God's in this with Jacob, and we see that he takes these rods and makes them these these gutters or watering troughs for these, and he notices when they drink of this and they conceive before these rods that they have these streaked and speckled and spotted cattle. So Jacob separates these out. And since he noticed this, whenever he sees a strong cattle, he sends them over there to drink from those troughs, and that way when they conceive, then they conceive of the strong cattle, and then the weaker ones that he lets Laban keep those. And so we see that through God working through this and allowing Jacob to do these things, that the feebler are going to be Laban's, and the stronger are Jacob's. So even despite Laban trying to trick him and give him less through this, that through God and through his work here, that he's still able to have the stronger cattle. And so in this closing here in 43, we see that it mentions that the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maidservants, and menservants, and cattle, and donkeys. And so we see that even despite this last trial, that God was with him as had promised, and he still comes out exceedingly better, and even better than what he had before, and even better than Laban had been, what Laban had, because Laban had tried to trick him. I'm sure if Laban had just let him have the cattle, it wouldn't have been such a huge contrast between the two. But instead he tried to trick him, and he ends up with these much stronger cattle than what he would even had before, because God was in it with him. All right, so I hope that this helps you through this week, and is uplifting, that you're going to have trials, and you're going to have struggles, but God is going to be with you through it. Again, like we talked about last week, and I love how Paul had compared it to running a race. Yesterday I ran a 5K down the road here at the Crumley house, and that first mile or mile and a half that you run out, it's an out and back, and that first mile and a half or so, it's downhill, and it was windy and the wind was behind us. So it was an enjoyable experience, that first mile. Well, once you hit that turnaround and you start going up those hills, and that wind is against you, and it's pushing you back, and you're not feeling like you're going anywhere, that's when that's the kind of trials that sometimes that you're hit with, and that's when you need God to be the one to continue helping you push through that, because again, it's not what we've done and what we do, it's God, and God's with us, and that's the same thing that we see here with Jacob. All right, so I'll go ahead and close us out here in a word of prayer.